Welcome back to Ben's Book Club. Today, we're diving into a big one, Trump, The Art of the Deal. Now, when this book came out back in 1987, it wasn't just a bestseller. Oh no, it became this masterclass in 80s business philosophy and pretty much the blueprint for how to build a personal brand.
And this quote, this is really the heart of the entire book. It's the foundation for everything else that comes after. The whole idea is, why not aim for the biggest, most audacious goal you can imagine? Because in this view, the effort you put in is going to be the same whether you're aiming small or aiming for the moon.
And wow, did it capture a moment. Back in '87, this book was a cultural phenomenon. It's kind of part memoir, part how-to guide for deal-making, and it absolutely cemented Donald Trump's image as the ultimate New York real estate titan, long before his life in politics.
So to really get this book, we have to see it for what it is. It's really a window into a very specific moment in American culture, a time that was all about ambition, taking huge risks, and having these larger-than-life personalities.
You know, the book's opening is pretty unconventional. It doesn't give you this long backstory. Instead, it just throws you right into the deep end, into this chaotic week in the life that's just nonstop phone calls, site visits, and deals. The whole point is to show you a style that's built on pure instinct and momentum, not some rigid, boring plan.
All right, so after you get through that crazy week, the book finally lays out its secret sauce, what it calls the Trump cards. These are 11 core principles that are presented as the absolute key to success in pretty much any deal. And these principles, they're a real mix. You have the expected stuff like think big, but then you get something surprisingly conservative like protect the downside, always have a plan for the worst-case scenario. And that's paired with some really aggressive tactics like use your leverage, get the word out, and the super direct fight back. The idea there is simple. If you get hit, you hit back even harder.
But okay, perhaps the most famous and definitely the most controversial concept from this whole book is this idea of truthful hyperbole. The book itself frames it as a kind of strategic exaggeration. The argument goes that it's not really lying, it's more like creating a compelling fantasy to sell your vision. And this marketing tool, it's absolutely central to the entire philosophy.
So that's the theory. But how did these principles actually work in the real world? Well, the book uses several huge real estate projects as case studies to show the art of the deal in action. The book really walks you through these key deals. First, there's turning the old Commodore Hotel into the Grand Hyatt, which involved getting this massive 40-year tax break. Then, of course, there's the creation of Trump Tower, making it this ultimate symbol of luxury on Fifth Avenue. And maybe the biggest hero story in the book is the Wallman Rink project, where he's framed as the guy who swooped in and finished a public project under budget and way ahead of schedule after the city had failed for years.
But, and this is a big but, here's where the narrative of the book itself starts to get a whole lot more complicated. Because, as it turns out, the story of the book is almost as fascinating as the stories in the book.
You see, the voice that you're reading in The Art of the Deal was actually channeled through a ghostwriter, a journalist named Tony Schwartz. And in the years since it was published, Schwartz has not only revealed his role, but he's publicly expressed just deep regret for writing the book at all. And that, as you can imagine, sets up a major conflict.
The two narratives are just night and day. On one hand, the book presents this instinctively brilliant dealmaker. On the other, you have Schwartz, who now claims he had to put lipstick on a pig, basically inventing a narrative for a man he says had no attention span. While the book feels like a first-hand account, Schwartz says he had to fabricate anecdotes, and that he even came up with the title, The Art of the Deal, himself.
So, what does all this mean for the book's legacy? I mean, how are we supposed to understand it today, knowing the story behind how it was actually made?
Well, ultimately, the book is a lot of things all at once. It's a genuine snapshot of 1980s business thinking, for sure. It's absolutely the founding document of the Trump brand, where the name itself became the main product. And, in a funny way, the book itself might be the ultimate example of its own main idea, truthful hyperbole.
Which really leaves us with the final big question at the heart of its legacy. Is The Art of the Deal a timeless guide to negotiation in business, or is it actually the origin story of a brand that was built on the very hype that it preaches? Something to think about. Subscribe so you don't miss an episode.